And Dr. Simon, what drew you to become a hotelier?
How did I become a hotelier?
Yes, how did you become one?
See, we started off with 5 rooms, and as a doctor, you're a people's person. And to be a hotelier also, it's a people's person. Not much of a change. One is suffering, one is happy. So I started with 5 rooms. Of course, I used up my liking or other aptitude for architecture. You will see the picture later.
Right.
First block of 7, then it became 8, then we have 18 rooms. And slowly I learned how to look after guests when we have a limited number of people. I never wanted to be a big hotelier. Room numbers are limited to 18. Only in-house guests are handled. So by and large, I went into another property subsequently. All this started way back in 1997. I had the first guest.
Wow.
So I kept getting feedback from the guest, and subsequently we improved on it. And even today I'm learning, I think. My first guest, I remember, he was Reverend Father Ashton. I somewhere or other felt that he was not very comfortable in my room.
Mm-hmm.
He was a 6', 6'5" feet.
Wow.
And since then, all my beds are 7 foot, can be a twin bed. All my 18 rooms have that. Such sort of improvement I have done hands on the job. So here I am a hotelier. I don't know whether I am, but I'm managing, my friend.
That is such a lovely story. Yes, yes.
Simon, that's something we share in common because we also opened up in '97 with the Malabar House. And I still remember one of our first guests was Lord Hamlin for his 70th birthday. He came in with a private jet and a group of friends. And while they were walking into the reception, I walked with the painters to the kitchens out of the restaurant. So it was a tight call. Yeah, but it was the same time we started.
Yes.
So this brings me to the next question. What were some of the challenges that you faced when coming into this profession now?
I wouldn't say challenges. I rather enjoyed it. Earlier days regarding marketing and the industry as such, we had a friend called Mary Ann,
Mm-hmm.
both for me and York.
Yes.
She was an ex-Coxswain Kings, Western Orient, and finally she started a company of Mahot. And both of us were guided by her. And she always told me, Simon, you cannot run a typical hotel. So even earlier I had decided I will get anything to give you the feeling of a hotel. It will be divided off in the Windermere. 18 keys is fine. We don't have much of a reception, but we have a large library. We have a pool. And coming to the design, we'll talk later. We also developed another property called River House, which subsequently we'll talk about. This is something like a mid-house between Cochin Airport and Mona, the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
This Windermere, you may put it as plantation retreat, and River House could be forest and sanctuary.
Oh, that's lovely.
The challenges as such, hiring up people, convincing people that a doctor can do a good job. Well, my presence is necessary every other day. I was working in a hospital on a regular basis. That was a little tough, handling too many things. And I'm a one-man army. My son joined much later.
Mm-hmm.
Construction was under my nose. Even the furniture was done in-house. So these could have been the challenges. And since I grew slowly, the finance was not a strain. Over to York.
Yes, well, for me, the challenge was really the HR part, I must say. I mean, design-wise, that was my profession. So to design the hotel, it was a journey. But okay, I had to learn a few things which were different. I always called it to build a bypass around the bypass. I mean, you have to learn in India how to handle certain things.
Yes.
But But then the HR part, you know, because you had the 5-star hotel where people would run around with ties, who never wear a tie in their private life, and to have a kind of a friendly personal service, which is not which works well, but it's not obstructive and not interfere in the privacy of the people. This was, I think, that was the biggest challenge, you know, to develop a team which kind of, that's the kind of hospitality we want, a bit informal, but not sloppy, just friendly. And I mean, I have traveled most of my life. Before I became a hotelier, I was actually traveling non-stop, you know, and if you go into a hotel, the person in the hotel is a link between you and the world around you. You can carry everything in the suitcase you need, but you cannot carry your social network. Okay, today you have it on your mobile phone, which you didn't have 20, 30 years ago, but so the people in a hotel, they are connecting to the culture, to the people around you, to the community, you know, and they have to do that well. And I think that was really the biggest challenge, to build up a team which kind of develops this kind of hospitality we wanted to give to the people.
Right.
Georg, this is Sejal. I have a question for you. You mentioned earlier that when you actually got the records for Malabar House, you got them right back to 1765. That's going back, yes, going back quite a while. Which also led me to think of why you chose Fort Cochin as the base for your property. Was it, were you impressed by the colonial history of the place, or was there something particular about
it? Yes. I mean, I came to first time as a traveler to Cochin in the early 70s. And
right.
There was just one hotel, and that was completely occupied by employees of the State Bank of India. And it's really about 5 minutes walk from where the Malabar House is today. And I remember going out in the morning out of that room and having a walk and go back to the hotel and rent the room for 2 weeks. And then a few days later, I met some people. I talked with him. Somebody invited me to his house for 5 o'clock tea.
Right.
And I came up to this old Dutch house in the first floor, walked up the steps, and there's this gentleman, very devout Catholic, who went twice a day to church, was sitting with his 2 best friends, and one was a Brahmin and the other one was a Muslim. And that was really a kind of a decisive moment, you know, where I kind of, I mean, there's a beautiful movie on YouTube called A Letter from India. A young man, he did this film about this, I think 36 different communities in Matanjari and Fort Cochin, you know. So on one hand, you have these different communities, you have all the religions, including one of the oldest synagogues, the oldest synagogue of the Commonwealth of Nations. And on the, and then of course you have these layers of European history, because 150 years Portuguese, 150 years Dutch, 150 years British. The Malabar was first time mentioned in the Dutch period when one Dutch bought it from another for a certain amount of guilders. So you had these layers of history. And I must say, when my wife and me, the Fort Cochin absorbed us like a sponge, you know. I mean, it was just fit for it.
Right. That's a wonderful story, Georg. Thank you for sharing that. Sunil, if we can get the Malabar presentation up, since we are talking to Georg at the moment, maybe he can run us through the Malabar properties. And I'm sure you will mention the design element and the contemporary art, which is something so close to both your hearts at Malabar Escapes. Thank you. Georg, you have the floor.
Yeah, yes, please. So just carry on with the images.
Next image, please.
Yeah, this is I mean, the Malabar House, when we started the Malabar House, the neighborhood had no hotels. It was still very residential, what it isn't anymore. and we didn't want to disturb the neighbors. So we had the old Malabar House, and then the additional buildings, which you see in the back, that is the wine bar with the kitchen below it, and the building with the spa in the first and second floor. And on the left is another 5 rooms. So we built all around a central patio, which allowed us to have a common space for the guests, where they have al fresco dinners. There's a stage with music, Carnatic music in the evening. And in the initial period, it was really to keep the noise away from the neighbors. But it has developed at the focal point of the hotel where people kind of interacted. Then we have the rooms. This is a Malabar suite. It's a bed you see that is basically the legs of red lacquer legs of an old Brahmin bed, which we extended to the huge size, which also Dr. Simon mentioned. Everything is 2.10 m. I'm not very good in feet, 2.10 m long. The picture on the wall is a Tanjore painting. We got a collection of 12 Tanjore paintings when we opened the hotel from a royal collection. And then there are also everywhere, you don't see it in these pictures, of course, strong elements of contemporary art. So it's really a mix of antiques, collectibles, contemporary art, and contemporary design. Yeah, this is the ground floor of the same suite.
Have you sourced most of these from Fort Cochin itself, or have they come from various parts of southern India?
Pardon? I didn't get the question.
I asked whether you've sourced most of these pieces from Fort Cochin itself, or from Kerala, or have they come all over South India?
No, mainly from Kerala. But a lot of it is our own design, like the cane chairs or the tables, which you don't see in the image. I sent yesterday some images. I don't know if you have them, which also had the private dining and the dining room, which maybe.
We've selected a few images. We have about 10 or 11. Could we have the next one, Sunil?
No, that is no Purity. Can
Yes.
you just stay Malabar House for a second? Can you show me the Malabar House image?
Sure.
Yeah, yesterday. There was, I sent 8 images yesterday.
I think these are the ones that we have for the moment. Was there a particular?
Well, yes, because what I wanted to show is, I mean, the Malabar House as well as Purity. Maybe you can, in that case, you can go to Purity. We have this this concept of very imaginative in inspiring privacy in the rooms, and
Yes.
which allows us and all the rooms have private verandas. So we have now worked on the concept of the private dining,
Right.
because under the virus we need this, and I illustrated that yesterday. We took also some food photographs, and that's
Right.
what I sent yesterday. Yeah, what you're showing now, that's Purity. That's our property in the Membanat Lake, our backwater property. Can you go back to one picture, please, to the one on the lakefront, the one you showed before? The aerial photograph, yeah. All right, so this property it's 50 kilometers from Cochin. It's Fort Cochin. It's an hour's drive along the old coastal road, and it overlooks the Membanat Lake at its widest point. Now all the rooms are spread out. If you see a courtyard behind the reception building, and afterwards all the buildings you see, they are with the rooms, and these 14 rooms, all the rooms and suites overlook the lake. We have 2 swimming pools. On the left side, you see that. And of course, what you see along the waterfront, that is already a largely widely spread out al fresco dining in the evenings. So now you can go to the room, the next one. The image you showed, the next image, please. Yeah, now this is, for example, one of the suites overlooking the lake. And that was, of course, the work was done 15 years after the Malabar House. So there is maybe a stronger element of contemporary design in it than in the Malabar House itself. The Malabar House is more filled with collectibles, and this has more contemporary art in it. Do you have anything more? Yeah, this is when you come into Purity. This is a reception. We have this sitting arrangement on the right side, and the other one, people quite often come in early. Then there is this old palace window in the wall, and on the right side is a painting by Pratiputtua, the two paintings, one left, one right of the door. And yeah, this is our poolscape. This is our, all that furniture is done in-house and designed in-house, whether it's the pool beds or the furniture in the rooms. And of course, then in Purity, we have in the morning, we have yoga classes. That is Trinity in Fort Cochin. That is our third property. That is opposite the Malabar House. It's a property of the former Dutch East India Company. It has the arms of the Dutch East India Company over the portal, but the building itself is a British bungalow. And here this has a bath garden. When you go out of this room, it has a bath garden. Yeah, this is one of the other rooms on the opposite side, overlooking the parrot ground behind it. You sit out in the parrot ground in the middle. That small table island is something we designed, that you can have a lamp in the middle of the room, and you have the connection for your computer and your telephones, and you have a small island between the sitting arrangement and the bed where you can do things in the room. Yeah,
all of the rooms are especially spacious, and has been that you know, people will stay longer in destinations going forward, and so spacious rooms and spaces, you know, lovely spaces like these are definitely going to, you know, draw more visitors and more clients.
What you see there on the wall, that is all originals by Subramaniam. It's one of the modern classic architects of India. It's an amazing collection, basically. In one of the rooms there, we have more than 30 lithographs of Hussein. And yeah, and this discovery, our houseboat, this is, there's another story with the houseboat. When we had at the beginning of Malabar House, we had a honeymoon couple which tried to check in by 6:30 in the morning because they ran off a houseboat. And when we asked them, they were a VIP couple, and when we asked them why they ran off, they said, well, they were on their honeymoon, and the whole team of the houseboat was mooring in front of their bedroom. So we thought about how we can design a houseboat which is really contemporary tropical architecture, but at the same time you have a privacy and not a passage in front of the room. So we got a traditional hull made by a traditional boat maker, and then we brought it to another place, and we inserted a contemporary tropical piece of architecture, and it's a suite with a bedroom, a dressing room, bathroom, and a living room. Everything en suite. It can sleep four, but a family of four, because you have to share the bathroom in the middle. And then you have this, from both sides, you have the steps going up to the upper deck, and this upper deck, it becomes a grandstand in the backwaters. And I mean, actually using a boat is a very good tool for social distancing, talking about Corona.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
You have the water around you. So what we are doing in the moment, usually we do with the boat anything from 2 nights to 1 week cruises and houseboat holidays. But now during the Corona, we use the boat also for day cruises, so that people have, when they stay in Purity, they have this option of, this is a bedroom in the boat. You see the huge windows. So you have the option to go on a day cruise with Discovery and then stay back in Purity in the evening.
Right. While we are just talking about the Malabar Escapes, I know that you do quite a few unique experiences, and we spoke with Vineet earlier this week about a few of them. And the one that I particularly like is the choir experience, because the plant is so important.
just a second. The photo you show now, that is the living room of the boat. But as you can see, there are also, you have 2 beds in that if required. Yeah, the choir is the choir experience that is actually in the village of Muama. And it's a typical Kerala thing. It's a cooperative society owned by the workers. And they do choir flooring, but they do it a traditional way. I mean, it's like a time wrap. You step back 100 years if you go into that. This is the way they produce it.
Okay. Right. Thank you, York, for that. Sunil, can we have the Windermere presentation on now? Dr. Simon, please take us through the Windermere story and your properties.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh yes, both the Windermere Estate, I was talking about the plantation retreat, and River House, Forest and Sanctuary are the ones. Move to the next, please. Yes, this is an aerial view of that 60 acres of cardamom, predominantly a cardamom plantation and partly coffee of Arabica variety. It is a merging of a forest land, manicured hills and mountains. You could also have a glimpse of the swimming pool. The occupation here is mostly for plantation, and hence not much of houses are seen next to it. It is at the elevation of 5,000 feet above mean sea level. Long walks even to the mountain are possible. The stretch of 3 kilometers of our estate is very adjacent to that down. Bordering the tea plantation, you can see. Can I have the next, please? Okay, this is the first building I was mentioning about 97. We commissioned and the first guest walked in there. What you see at the lower level is the tiny lobby. In fact, it's just to see the people and they go forward. There is a solid rock just next to that, which gives a 360 degrees of the view, uninterrupted. Just before that is our residence, which in fact is the best of location, and we still live there. The added advantage of meeting the planter, either me or my son or somebody will be always there, gives them a little confidence, guidance, and gives a next to nature feeling there. They do drop in and say hello to me occasionally. The above building has got just 5 rooms. Our rooms are ranging from 500 to 1,100 square feet in 3 categories: garden, estate, and plantation villa. Next, please. Yes, this is one of those middle category of rooms of 800 square feet. Certain things we have been a little lavish with the wood. We have a luggage rack which can take 2 or 3 bags at a time. There's a bidet bed. There's a sitting area. As you can see, the floor is of terracotta tile, which is hand polished. The bathrooms are reasonably big. In fact, we have provided a windows. There is always a privacy, and that windows give fresh air and to keep the room dry. There is a nice balcony out with uninterrupted view outside, but I must say that more things happen outside the room. Yes, this is the swimming pool from the library. The previous block has got balconies at the side, which takes you for a good look at the tea on the other side. The mountains are at the back. People do go for a long walk. As York was saying, it is around 6 hours. There are occasions when they have come very late and we got anxious. But they manage with their compass in hand and they come back. Very adventurous people. Our evening walk is through our own estate of 2 kilometers. Flora, fauna, how the cardamom plantation is. Arabica coffee, by default it is organic, we don't manure it, which is being served at our tea shop, which is well appreciated. Not to forget the spring water we receive from top. In fact, the pool is with spring water processed. Next, please. Oh yes, we have gone to the river house. That is the catchment of a dam called Bhudatangata. It is the main river is the Periyar River. As you can see, there are only few roofs. First is all rubber plantation, and just behind that is the Western Ghats. So we are finely sandwiched between the mountain and the river. We are 3.4 kilometers from the main road, that is Cochin to Muna, midway between Cochin to Muna, 60 kilometers, turn to the left. 3.4 kilometers is our property. It is roughly around 14,000 square feet. There also we have a place to live for the family. And this 14,000 square feet is meant only for 5 rooms, tentatively 10 or 13 guests at a time. We will have a closer look at some of the rooms. Or next, please. This river,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, this is the main building. I was very keen that it should reflect an old-time house. Even though it is only 4 years old, it should appear like as if 1930s. A lot of spaces has been wasted. The architectural part, York, I made some nice staircase, added a few rooms, and it turned out to be around 7,000 square feet. And I tried out something new in that building because between the lintel and the floor, I put some cathedral glasses, which looked very nice to start with. I liked it. So that is one of the additions we tried there and came successfully. All are with rafters and tiled roof. There is a library on top also along with this building. Next, Jaime. Yes, this is one of the bedrooms. Most of the rooms are very similar. The sit-out is facing the riverside where we have the yoga area and the dining area. The walking from here to there is a little long, 400 feet. As you travel, as you walk, you will get the greenery, our vegetable garden. We have we have a butterfly garden. Yoga is also conducted there. We'll go to the next picture. Yes, this is the dining, which is open. In the night, maybe some animals might come around, but otherwise it is quite safe. Well, unfortunately, the bar is not a working bar because of the license problems. Overlooking the river on the other side, see, most of the rivers in Kerala are skeletal, they 5 to 6 months a year. Since this is a catchment of a dam, we are very lucky to have the water for almost 10 to 11 months. We do have kayaking. People do go for canoeing. Fishing is possible. And the building you see beyond our dining is the yoga center. Maybe I can show you the swimming pool next. Yeah, this is the pool which is overlooking the river. It's very 40 by 20, the same size as what we have there. Here we have a lot of cycles. People come for cycling 11 kilometers. They will reach a ropeway, which is an excellent view of the catchment of the dam again. Long walks of 3-4 kilometers can be done. Tattakad is another 40 minutes. Tattakad is one of the famous Salim Malik's bird sanctuary. We have a naturalist there. Long-staying people do go to the Idiki Dam, which is just about 45-50 minutes. I must tell you that this is actually 55 kilometers from the airport. Takes you one and a quarter hour to reach the airport. So we have been seeing people staying with us and checking out to the airport on their way back, say, like Fort Cochin, Kumaragam, Thekadi, Muna, back to our place and they check out. So the distance from here to Muna is also 60. So we have this using both the properties.
Right, right.
Well, next, I don't think there's a picture beyond
Yeah,
that. yes,
Thank you. I mean, the River House, I think, is relatively new to our audience. So
yes, yes. Any questions?
thank you for sharing, that information, and also telling us about the place. It looks really lovely. It's just the right kind of sort of small area where people would like to go. You said it was 3.5 kilometers away from the road. Is there a village around? Is there somewhere you can sort of walk to? You mentioned long walks, but is there a village where people can walk into, or are there any special activities that they can do apart from the canoeing and the cycling, etc.?
We have a naturalist who's at your disposal. He takes you for a walk. He takes you to the farm. He shows them toddy tapping, rubber tapping, and his favorite place is his own butterfly garden.
Oh, how lovely! I love butterflies. Yeah, that's
And
lovely.
they have half a dozen bicycles. They do
Yeah,
bicycle up to another 8 kilometers, and there's a hanging bridge. It gives a fabulous view of the river and the catchment.
right.
And,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's lovely. I also saw sort of some beautiful tiles and woodwork in the property as well. So I
Yeah.
see you very painstakingly designed the property to reflect local Kerala architecture as well.
Yes, we have carpenters working for me for the last 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
We, as I was mentioning about our previous guest, every furniture there is 10 to 15% larger than the normal size.
Yeah.
These
The common thing between sort of rooms in all of your hotels, between York and you, is that the rooms are large and spacious, which is, I think, a really lovely thing. So
more than that, we have a common thing. York doesn't have a boss. I also don't have a boss.
That's my
That's
wife.
very important.
But you're right. I mean, the average size and purity, for example, of a room is about 70 square meters, which is about almost 800 square feet as an average. And then you have, and then Dr. Simon has it also, all these sit outs, because after all, I mean, people come in the winter to Kerala, or in the summer they go to Munnar, and it's for the experience of the tropics and the tropical weather, and to have these options where you can cocoon in your room, but you can also sit outside and enjoy the weather. It's very important, So since this privacy reaches out from the room itself and offers you a connection to the surrounding, I think that is something which is fantastic in Windermere, and in our properties it's the same, I mean,
yes. So I thank you for that, both of you. We turn to the situation that we all find ourselves stuck in for the last 2.5 months, which of course goes by the name of COVID. The Kerala story, as far as COVID goes, has been a successful one. We've had in the local press here in England last weekend coverage from Shailaja, who has told us about the success that COVID has had in both detecting the cases and treatment of people. So I just want to ask you about your own reactions to the situation, and maybe you can also tell us a little bit about what your staff has been doing during this time. What steps have you taken to maybe start receiving guests perhaps in the next month or two?
Well, we are working on. I mean, we got yesterday. I mean, two of our properties are member Frilin Chateau, and we got yesterday from the Bureau Veritas in Paris the new protocol on which we have been working for the last 1 month, and now we will do the training with the staff. Obviously, I was just this morning in a web seminar of Frilin Chateau, who is properties in Switzerland and Holland, which opened already. And obviously, that is an area where you cannot afford any mistake. I mean, it's not usually you make a mistake and then with a big smile you can compensate for it. But this with the virus, you can't make mistakes. So We are busy with the training on that, especially with our core team. Then when I'm finished now this meeting, I go on the computer. We work on menus on QR codes. There will be no paper in the rooms anymore, or in the restaurant or wherever you eat. So there will be a QR code and you scan it in with your mobile, and the menu will be on your mobile. So we are working on a lot of things. Then we work on. We won't have a room menu or other menu. There will be just one dining menu, and this dining menu you can use in the privacy of your terrace, or in a private. Maybe also create private family dining rooms. We have emptied rooms and converted them into dining rooms, and we spread out the tables more so that people can have this choice whether they want to sit in a restaurant but with some distance to the next table, or they want to have a private dining room, or they want to eat on their terrace. So basically we are getting ready that the moment we are allowed to have guests again, that we can have them. But we must be 100% sure, and that is one lesson I've learned in all these discussions. We always talk about the fear of the guests, but there's also the fear of our team, the people working for us, and their safety.
Absolutely, yeah.
Security. And you see, and just with somebody who is with me on the board of Relais Chateau, who had the hotel in Switzerland, he said the biggest challenge for him in the opening was the fear of his staff. Yeah, and he's open already. So, for example, he put all the health checks of the staff, whether it's taking the temperature or sanitation. Nothing is back of house, everything is front of house, that the guests see that the staff itself follows the sanitation rules, the temperatures are taken, it says even the chef comes out, the temperature is taken in a restaurant from him. So I think the confidence we have to build that it's safe to be with us and it's enjoyable to be with us. This confidence we have to extend not only to the guests but also to the staff. The staff must be absolutely confident that they work in a safe environment, and I think that is the biggest challenge for us in the moment, to get all this right.
I think that's a very key point that you make, especially because most of our rare properties are all sort of, the staff tends to be local, and they are quite close to, because the hotels are quite small, they tend to be very much part from the local village or the community. So, taking care of both sides of the coin, so to speak, is a very important aspect of it.
No, I think it's absolutely key. I mean, we always said that to have happy clients, you need a happy team, and to have safe clients, you need a safe team. It works the same way around.
Yes, and that is true.
I'm sure Simon, as a doctor, he has his own ideas how to, coming from a clinical background where safety of the patients is paramount, he will have his own way of handling that.
So, Dr. Simon, over to you. Tell us of your experience with COVID in relation to both your properties.
Let me endorse what York has been talking. I think I will go first to how did Kerala go right? Let me get into the topic a little bit. See, Kerala did reasonably well, and I hope we'll continue being like this. We had this early detection, wide tracing of diseased people, 28 days of almost quarantine, and tremendous public support. This has actually flattened the curve of ours in the early stage and even now. Well, we had certain factors against it also. We had this non-resident Keralites coming in, a lot of tourists coming in, a lot of our students coming out from, going out and studying and returning. Well, against all this, we did reasonably well. The monsoon also is hindering our regular practices here. Early economic package has been given by the government, which also helped. And I have to mention our biggest asset, our health workers. When I talk about health workers, I am talking about ward assistant, the laboratory people, nurses, the doctors, well, even ambulance people. Well, they were almost like service beyond self. Hats off to them. And this is the success of Kerala. Another thing was that all these literate people with proper communication and no false information obeyed the authorities. And I must also remind you that we have 1,600, almost 1,600 primary health centers in Kerala thanks to the royalties. They made educational schools. Also, these primary health centers, which became very handy. In fact, the medical people could go to the faraway places, get things delivered, sort of screen them. So that also added to our success. We had a lot of volunteers, youngsters coming out and saying, what can we do for you? We are there with you. And I must say that things might change a little bit by the return of all our people from abroad. Then coming to the properties as such, this is all I think that Kerala has done well, and these are the reasons. Now, I think what are happening are now some of our small properties is per person space allotted is quite a lot in all our properties, including yours.
Yeah.
See, imagine 10 people in 14,000 square feet. Well, we never had a buffet lunch or before anything. It was all sit-down meals. And most of the people could hibernate by themselves in places with 60 acres of land. And they do go out most of the time. The water is spring water there. And also to know that the doctor is next door, I sometimes end up with geriatric practice. Now, somebody come and I really get involved, and they are quite happy that they could get a consultation from me. They are actually waiting for advice for even other things.
I think in these times also, I think it'll, it'll be an added assurance to people to know that you're around as well. Access to medical facilities or quality medical facilities is something that is being talked about a lot here, especially
in Kerala, yes.
the purview of foreign international travelers returning back to destinations in Asia. So
I mean, we really have world-class medical services in this state, and I mean,
yes.
There is a huge medical tourism, people coming for treatments from abroad to Kerala. And I got myself 3 years ago, I was with dengue fever in the hospital together with my wife because it was same time. It was an amazing quality treatment experience, So I think as far as when the virus started, there was a group of British tourists which got the virus, and they were picked up by the government and quarantined, and they came back to the UK, and that the experience of the medical services was fantastic here. And that's, if you look at our cases in Kerala, but we have such a low mortality rate. I mean,
Yes.
I think it's the lowest in the world. It's absolutely because whoever is infected with the virus within 48 hours, he is in a hospital and he is under medical treatment by experts and doctors, and that makes all the difference. So yeah, I would say, and my is spread about over 6 countries in the world, but I would say from all of them, I'm in the safest place.
Certainly seems so, Yog. Yes, I agree. So we're coming towards the end of our session. So I would like perhaps to have a closing statement from each of you, just with some positive information you'd like to share, or anything like that, really. And yes, please, Dr. Simon, perhaps you can go first.
See, I think the future is, a lot of planning is needed. Financial discipline is necessary for our citizens. Technological adaptation is a must. we have to invest more on relationship and memory. Maybe I'm talking like a reverend father, but it's a, see, we have to have a work and life balances. Coming to the business, all what we can say is it is survival at the moment, revival, any expansion or new ventures will take long time. And travel related, if we have to say, we have to wait how the aircrafts are coming, but inter and intra or throughout India, travelers will be available for quite some time. See, India is like a continent so large. So even visiting Indians will be enough to improve our business.
For the short term, yes.
Yes, yes. I mean, see, now the borders are open. Inter-district has already come. Interstate has come. Subsequently, the domestic lines also will move. Maybe I think I might have to keep a couple of TVs in the rooms, which I normally don't do.
Yes.
So anyway, such adaptation is in the make. Let us see what happens. Over to York.
Thank you. Well, I think, I mean, we have gone through 9/11, and then there was a tsunami, and then there were the floods 2 years ago, and now it's even one more up. I mean, we in hospitality, we are affected by elements from outside, and we really don't know what happens around the next bend, you know. So I think we have to be more careful in our business planning, you know, that we have to increase our productivity. We need a really good core team with which we can handle crises. I think people will travel in future a bit less and stay a bit longer in a place, which is very, very much in line with that, what Dr. Simon and we are doing, because we want to give the people a better experience and not just a quick one-night stay. So the tendency goes that people stay up to a week in a place. So I believe we have to rework our experiences, and we have to find a way between these two elements. One is this social distancing and safety. On the other hand, people love to travel and they want to be in company of people, you know, they need social contacts. And I think we have to bridge that in a very, very careful way. For me personally, my life is not too much affected because I have worked all my life from home office. So it's more or less the same what it has been before, except that I go less out of the house than I did before. And I'm a bit more careful with planning traveling, but I think people will be more careful on that. And I think I said that earlier, what we really have to work on is to create situations of confidence. And confidence is only there if we are ourselves confident in that situation.
Okay, thank you for that. Shobna,
yeah, there are a couple of more questions, Dr. Simon. One of the questions is, who is the host at the Riverside, and are you there often, and who looks after the guests?
I forgot to mention about John K. Simon. I have brought that engineer youngster, my son, into the business. He does the marketing. He is associated with you, and thanks a lot for all the support. He or me, we take turns, and we have to pass through that, so we stay there. Either me or John. Both the places now has got a naturalist also. So John might be in the house, then I'll be in the Windermere.
Okay, all right. And someone wants to know what is the flooring used at the River Lodge?
River Lodge is also terracotta. Fully it is terracotta. It is made out of clay and hand polished.
And the question is, what are some of the activities that one can do at Purity and Trinity?
In Purity, we have if you go to our website, there's a whole basket of experiences we're offering. It's palace and temples with it, and we have the beach with it, and we have the Kutanat experience, which is a wonderful experience. You go to Kutanat, and with the boat you are taking out to lowland, and you have a lunch there in a farm, and they explain you the local farming. So there's a whole basket of experience, but then there are also cocooning experiences. We have the pure spa with Kailari, Ayurveda together. Then we have the yoga sessions. We have the evening canoe ride to the Chinese fishing nets.
Right.
Yes, and coming to Fort Cochin, of course, I mean the Fort Cochin Matanjari with its 36 communities, its temples, its churches, its mosques, it's a world in itself, you know. I mean, we have a lot of people come here, they go to Chew Town just to browse in the biggest antique bazaar or market in India. Then we have a lot of contemporary art galleries. And then we take them also to Purity for a day trip, and or with a houseboat for a day trip. And we have towards the airport site, in the villages, they plant the Pokali rice, which is the oldest rice on earth. It grows in saline water. So we take people to the Pokali rice experience. So there's plenty to do, you know. I mean, it's unfortunately, I wanted to show a video, but unfortunately on Zoom, the videos don't come up very well.
Yes.
We have on our website, we have a very nice short video called The History Walk in Fort Cochin. And it gives you a feel, because it's what Fort Cochin Matanjari, it's lived in history. You know, people are living here, all these communities are living here, they have their own architectural style, they have their own markets and their own places of worship. Yeah, so it's quite an amazing surrounding world. And our team, I mean, Sachi, our CEO, and Vineet and Vijay, you know, they are all geared to open up these experiences for our guests.
And if you could just highlight the cuisine that is served at both your places.
Well, the cuisine it's a story. I mean, Relais Chateau is about cuisine, you know, where we are members. And when my wife and me came to Kerala in '95, you know, we had this background of a Mediterranean cuisine. My wife is from Spain, and then we would start to work with the local flavors with our chefs. And today, I would say we do something what I would call modern Keralan cooking. You know, we work intensively with local flavors and local materials, but we use very, very modern cooking techniques like sous vide cooking. And we have very, very, what you have in a Michelin star gastronomy, you know, like taco jets and machines like this. So it's really spanning the arch from very traditional Kerala cuisine to very contemporary modern cuisine with Keralan flavors.
And Dr. Simon?
Yes. Both the places are following roughly the same. We see the grandmother's recipe to whatever local material is available is used, and most of the time it is TDH menu, fixed menu, unlimited. And of course, guests are being met at 2 o'clock when they arrive, and they have their choice. We add that to that. Our chef meets them. We have a barbecue every second day. The tea shop extends sort of local snacks, coffee, tea, and spring water. And you know, coming to Mona, they need tea, and tea is given. And our decoction coffee from our Arabica coffee is well appreciated. Altering of the menu is being done, but most of it is fresh. We have seen to that we don't have much of deep freezers.
That's lovely.
Management. Yes.
That's really nice to know. And there's just a question asking do you know if the KTM 2020 event in Kochi in September 2020, any idea whether it will continue or is it going to be postponed?
Rob will know better.
I'm not sure about it. We were wondering ourselves. There are some people who say it's on, others say it's off. The next one say it will be digitally on. The only good news we got in the moments this week is that and that's very important for us, that the Cochin Biennale will be on.
Oh, that's lovely. That's nice to know.
That is from 12th of December till end of March, you know. And it's the second biggest Biennale after Venice in the world in the meantime.
Right.
And I think that the art fraternity succeeds with artists from 80 countries to put the show together in these times. If that is going to happen, and it seems to go to happen, that is fantastic.
And Dr. Simon, there's a question for you. Asking if are there any secrets to the Nirai Mangalam village? Something that you could tell us special about it.
I think the first rubber plantation was around that area. There's some sort of muniaras, we call it. The hermits used to be buried, or they used to go into hermitage. Those areas are there. But otherwise, it is all full of forest and wild animals are there. Pattekad, of course, is another history.
Right.
But the Nerimangalam Bridge is the bridge which connected the mainland of Ernakulam to Idukki district. That is the beginning of the hill station. Way back, the royalties have made that bridge, and otherwise we would have been ferrying in between. And it has got the highest rainfall, second to Kanchi. Highest rainfall.
That's
4 inches of rain per day is not a surprise.
wow, that is a lot. And I don't think there are any more questions. I'd like to say a big thank you to both of you. Thank you so much for taking out the time to spend with us and being a part of our Destination Discovery series. For the rest of you, I personally have been to the Malabar House, but I haven't had a chance to be at the Windermere as yet, and I'm hoping that'll happen soon. And I hope travel opens up, and I hope we're all safe and it just moves forward. For the others, we are continuing. We have 2 more sessions on Instagram this evening at 5 and 6, and we hope to see you there. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much again for being a part of this, and we hope to see you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye, and stay safe.
You too. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.